Do you want FPS like this, getting 300 to 400 FPS? Well, follow this tutorial to learn more. Alright guys, for Fortnite settings, what we're going to do is come in here and make sure this is full screen. Now I have it on window full screen because I use an Elgato to capture and it's just easier that way. But make sure you put it to full screen. Next, make sure VSync is off and frame rate is set to your monitor's resolution. Make sure performance mode is turned on because DirectX 11 and DirectX 12 actually cause you to lose FPS. For graphics, this is personal preference. Graphics does not take from your FPS, so you could put this to however you want it. So now what you want to do is come down to graphics quality. For 3D resolution, if you have a bad computer with a bad graphics card or no graphics card, you're going to want to put this somewhere around 75 to 80. However, if you have some good graphics card, what you could do is bump this up to 100 or 90 to 95, somewhere around that range. Next, for view distance, I put this at far because this does not take away from your performance that much. I recommend medium for worser computers, but you do not have to go near. Putting it to near actually causes you not to be able to see weapons on the ground, so unless you have like a sniper or something, you will not be able to render this. Textures and meshes leave low, and show FPS, and also make sure report performance stats is disabled. Next is our audio tab. Make sure to come down here and put this to low because this actually causes you to have decreased performance as it says right here. Now in game settings, make sure your matchmaking region is set to the lowest MS as this will improve your ping and make it closest to 0 as possible. Another thing we're going to want to do is scroll down where we see replays and make sure replay recordings is turned off as this does take performance and it also uses a lot of hard drive space. Now that that's done, let's move on to the Windows settings. Now, within your Epic Games launcher, what we're going to want to do is come down here to Fortnite and click these three dots. Go up to options and make sure high resolution textures is turned off because this actually renders the high resolution textures which decreases your FPS. Also, make sure Fortnite Save the World is turned off because this takes up 15 gigs of space and if you don't play it, you're just wasting space on your computer. Now for the performance side. Make sure pre-downloaded streamed assets is actually turned on. Now this is 7 gigabytes, but what this does, instead of streaming your assets during game, this actually downloads them and pre-renders them so you're not doing that while in game, which actually increases your performance. Next, what we're going to want to do is go to settings. Within settings, go to gaming and go to game bar and go to graphics. Make sure optimize for windowed games is turned on and come down here to advanced graphics settings and make sure this is also turned on. Now, back in the gaming tab, let's go to captures. Here in captures, you want to make sure record what happens is turned off and capture audio when recording a game is also turned off. The reason for this is this uses your FPS and if you want to record your gameplay, use something like OBS, which is what I'm using now. Now, back in the gaming, go to game mode and make sure game mode is turned off if you're on Windows 11. If you're on Windows 10, you could turn this on, but for Windows 11, currently game mode does not work that good in Windows 11, so make sure it's off. Now what we're going to want to do is come into settings and search for graphics and go to graphics settings. And here you will see this custom settings for applications. What we're going to want to do is click add desktop app and go find your Fortnite download. For me, mine is stored in my 1 terabyte SSD. We'll go here, we'll go to Fortnite, we'll go to Fortnite game. Binaries 164 and you should see 3 applications right here. What we're going to want to do is click on Fortnite client 164 shipping and click add. Come down here to where it is and make sure this is set to high performance. We're also going to want to add this one and this one, so I'll get back to you after I do that. Now all of those 3 are added and it should look something like this: high performance, and high performance. Next we'll go to some tweaking apps. Using some tweaking apps, make sure our FPS is as high as possible and our Windows is not overloading our gameplay. Next, what we're going to want to do is hit our Windows button and search PowerShell and make sure to run this as administrator. Now that we're in Windows PowerShell, what we're going to want to do is go to the description and copy this text and paste it in. Next, what you're going to want to do is hit enter and let this run. Now, once you run it, it should look something like this. Now, I'm sure you're thinking, what did he just make me download? Well, I actually didn't make you download anything, as this runs in PowerShell and is completely from the web. This tool is from a YouTuber called Chris Titus, and he makes tutorial videos on how to improve your FPS. And this tool works really great to get optimization for your computer quick and easy. So, looking at this page, we have a bunch of stuff to install that just directly installs to your computer. Say you want Google Chrome or Firefox, whatever you need, this probably has it. What we're going to do is come up here to where it says tweaks and click it. First, we want to make sure to create a restore point just in case something messes up our computer. After you click that, you have made a restore point. What I recommend doing first is delete temporary files and disable consumer features. Disabling consumer features changes some registry tweaks that improves your FPS, and it's stuff you don't need on your computer. Next, we'll disable telemetry and active history. Also, we'll disable game DVR, disable hibernation, disable home group, prefer IPv4 over IPv6, disable location tracking, storage sense, Wi-Fi sense, enable end-to-end task. We'll skip this unless you want to enable it. We'll run a disk cleanup to make sure our hard drives and SSDs run great. We'll disable recall, and unless you're on a laptop, don't worry about this setting. And we'll click deblow edge, unless you use it, of course. Now we'll come over to customize preferences. This is all preferences that you can turn on or turn off, but I definitely recommend turning off mouse acceleration, numlock on startup, these messages, widgets, the search button, and BSOD. Another thing you have to do is come here and click Add Ultimate Performance Profile, as this will make your CPU run to its maximum potential speed. We'll come down to Advanced Tweaks, and me personally, I like to remove Microsoft Edge, remove OneDrive, and set display for performance is kind of personal. This basically makes your Windows display look more potato. If I do this, it's blue, it looks nice. Well, this will cause it to be a white box and nothing in the middle. This is good for lower end computers and people who just like the looks of it. Now, once you get all your tweaks, come down here and click Run Tweaks. This will take a few minutes, so just allow it to do its tweaks. No, you might see stuff happening in the background. This is normal, and just allow it to happen. Once you see tweaks finished up in the top right, your tweaks are set. Now that that's done, all you're going to have to do is click this X button. You'll get some notifications, and you're done. Now that the tweaks are finally enabled, I recommend right-clicking on your desktop and clicking refresh, as now my background is gone and now I have this little white box. Another tool I recommend using is Velocity Tweaks. Velocity Tweaks is a small YouTuber who makes FPS tweaking tools. What you're going to want to do is click discord.gg/velocity, scroll down to where it says free tweaks, free utility, and download this BAT file. Once the tweak is done downloading, you will see this BAT file in your downloads folder. All we're going to want to do is right click, run as administrator, yes, and here's the tweak. We already created a restore point, so we're not going to do that here. We're going to hit 1 for general tweaks. We're going to hit 3 for USB hub tweaks. The reason I didn't do 2 is this is Windows tweaks, and this changes the way Windows works, and me personally, I don't like this because I use Xbox games. If you do not use Xbox games, click 2, run it, it will help your FPS. Now, we're going to hit 4 for CPU tweaks. We're going to hit 1 or 2 depending on your CPU. For me, it's 1. And we're just going to let this run. Once you get this, click enter and go back. Now, I'm going to hit 5, click enter, and this will run input delay tweaks. Now, let's move on to 6. 6 will bring up this menu where you choose NVIDIA or AMD. I have an NVIDIA, so I'm clicking 1, and then the tweaks will apply. Now, I'm going to run 7 for my memory tweaks. It's going to ask how much gigabytes of RAM do you have. All you do is type in the amount of gigabytes you have. For me, it's 32, and click enter. Moving on to 8, we've already done this in our last tool, so we do not have to do this with this tool. Now I'm going to type in 9 because this deletes all the debloat apps that Windows installs automatically onto your computer. Give this a second to process. Once that's done, it will automatically close the program and right-click and refresh on your desktop. Now, your computer is fully optimized for the best performance possible. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Gaming content coming soon.